I'm calling in the creator to the CEO who crave creating community and cash to create it like a boss. With me, Katrina Julia, as your host, multi-passionate entrepreneur, creator, and CEO who has walked from fear to faith, self-hate to love, corporate to calling, and continues to, with experience in 7+ industries, 7,000+ creators and startups, to creators to Fortune 500 brands, including Google, NBC, Victoria's Secret, and more. If you are ready to create it like never before in faith, wellness, wealth, marketing, business, travel, and more, this is the show for you. If this is your time to have freedom in all forms as you create it like a boss, let's create it. How to manage and make time so the time doesn't make you. So I am sharing some insights into my next couple days. And if you've tuned in with me on the show before with Create It Like a Boss and how creators and CEOs create it, you know that I've shared about time blocking before. And I make this an intentional practice to not just time block, but to constantly review and have it top of mind how I'm utilizing time. Is it aligned? How can I free up time? How can I use my time so it's aligned to my values? So, first, with that in mind, because I haven't shared it in the past on my previous episodes about time blocking and about time, as far as my core values and what I am thinking about when I'm looking at my days, my weeks, my months. So you can see this at fitlifecreation.com/about as you learn all about me and learn insight. But you can also see at the bottom, faith, our community and culture. And you can see faith, passion, purpose, people, create, transform, and inspire. So I shared recently on my 7 whys, but I also have 7 value points that I think about on a day by day basis and how I'm aligning and how I'm increasing. And so with that in mind, now as I'm putting together my time, I think about how am I taking care of me in the context of what's developed in my morning and night routines, which I have shared in the past. My sacred 7 mornings and nights, that include prayer, journaling, movement, shake, tea, breath work or meditation, and hearing some sort of positive message. And just so you guys know, it is never perfect, quote unquote. Well, I'm not going to say never because a lot of times I hit all 7 and I love it, whether it's in the evening or in the night. But sometimes I spend more time on one versus the other. Like this moment, I prayed. And I also spent intentional time, extra time in prayer and doing breath work and breathing deeply and reflecting. I had a really late evening. I'm in Bulgaria right now. And so I'm, in a sense, operating on 2 time zones, so to speak. And I was up till like 2, and my initial focus was to be up by like 6 or 7. Well, obviously, I'm awake at that time. I knew I wasn't going to be awake as early, and I definitely felt it this morning. And so a couple of things came up for me. One was to revisit my time and my time blocks because some things have shifted with the business, with launches, with clients, with community. 2, to once I did that, to share it on the show. 3, to record my 7 ways to make 7K workbook. 4, to increase boundaries with clients in the sense of making sure I communicate again on sometimes setting things into parking lots, quote unquote, like when there's something that will likely take longer than 5 minutes to discuss. And part of this is also me because I get excited and I want to serve and I see the vision and I see where things can go. But then I also, and part of it is, working through the different things with people, especially when you're working one on one. And I'll talk about that on an upcoming episode. And one of it's something that I've worked so hard on for years with shifting from corporate to calling. But then oftentimes, things come up and new opportunities and new seasons and et cetera. So I definitely recognized it and I definitely shifted it. But in a sense, it was also needed and I didn't mind. And the clients loved it for what we were walking through. But it's something to also shift again to set the tone for the future. Then it came up to set a meeting with the CPA Academy to start sharing webinars to a captive CPE audience so that I can offer value through everything that you can find in the link in the bio. And I already publish my episodes oftentimes on Earmark CPE, but CPA Academy lets me showcase webinars live, and then I can offer Create It Monthly, 7 ways to make 7K, Creator to CEO, retreats, and so on. And then I also had a note to migrate some things from Eventbrite into Kajabi for 7 ways to make 7K. And then my blocks, just so you know how I'm scheduling my blocks are included in things like wellness. So, like morning routines, night routines, wellness, like going to the gym, taking a new fitness class. So, morning routine, wellness, any other self love, self care time that I'm setting in. A lot of times I'll do things whether when I'm traveling or even when I'm in places like I am here. Like I love Aqua House, which is a wellness spa. And a lot of times I'll do stuff like that on a Wednesday or on a Friday, creating. So also, if you've tuned in the past, and I share a lot about this in my programs, in my courses, in the retreats, but just to give you a high level, it's my Create 7, which goes into community, launches, media, projects, scaling, clearing, and creating. Like, what am I creating next, so to speak? Marketing. So obviously this ties into the Create 7 or creating, and then also creating. So one, that's how I keep track of it, but creating when I'm time blocking can also be like creating a workbook, can also be like creating a course, right? And podcasts can be considered creating, and or it can be considered marketing, and or it could be considered scaling because I might take segments out of my YouTube videos and clip them on a tool like Opus Clip and turn them into audio and then hand all that over to my virtual assistant, right? So I paused. Speaking of VAs, I was working with a VA service for 2+ years, and then I paused them recently, both for me and for them. And because I'm transitioning with my VA that's been with me for like years to keep working with her, Sonia. Um, One, it was because I had reshifted my priorities in several different things. Two, I was and am integrating so much AI and ChatGPT and IO into things that I'm doing that it's saving me tons of time. B, I'm getting to revisit, re-record, re-screenshot, and then C, delegate it to a VA. I was just actually talking to my mom about that. I'm here in Bulgaria with my mom and my dad. Then other time blocking is client work, like focused client work on like one-on-ones typically, right? So that can be one-on-ones within CFO slash COO type services, CMO, which you've heard me talk about, slash COO type services, things like that. Community, so that can be group classes like within Create It Monthly. That can be community work within Kajabi, the all-in-one marketing platform. Also, some of my time blocking that I mentioned strategy, but I did not mention project management. So I use ClickUp, and I've talked about that a lot on my episodes on my YouTube. ClickUp is amazing for all-in-one project management. I use them, and we use them for my team templates, for client and customer relationship management templates, CRMs. I just did an amazing Instagram post on this, on what is a creator to CEO and who does she embody and what does she encompass. And one of those things is project management and dashboards and knowing your numbers and knowing your priorities and tracking that, scorecards. And then also is time blocking for finances to review within project management, to review dashboards, to review key performance indicators, to review finances. I typically do things like that on Fridays, but then I also revisit them on Mondays, like Money Monday and Wealth Wednesday or Wellness Wednesday. Tech time. So am I doing the tech and or am I delegating it? Like, for example, loading courses into Kajabi. Clearing. So clearing emails, clearing specific folders in emails, be it my next folder, I have a next folder, be it scaling, be it growth, and unsubscribing to things that no longer align. I'm constantly clearing and making that dedicated time, and then scaling. So scaling can be with, so I always think of things in terms of strategy, structure, and systems. And scaling can be in the context of tech and teams and or teams. So before I think about a person to fill in something, I think about tech. I like repurpose. Opus Clip is a great example that I was using their free version, and then recently I upgraded to be able to automatically schedule the video clips directly to my social platforms. And then my next step is I'm testing it out now on different ones. And then my next step is to delegate it to a VA, right? So that's one example of tech that's delegated. And then is let's see, I mentioned tech, I mentioned finances. So that's the way it's being blocked, right? So to give you a preview of the rest of this week, so you get a sense for, so I mentioned yesterday being slightly off, so to speak, or maybe not off is the right word, but different, right? Different. And so how I recalibrated that was today I took a bit more time with my morning routine at 9 a.m., where I am in Bulgaria. Then I had some breakfast dedicated time with my mom. My dad went to go do some things. And we talked, laughed, danced, looked at. She loved one of my last Instagram posts where I'm literally dancing in front of the ClickUp dashboards, where I talk about how important dashboards are for your business. And I then showed her some people like at Miss.Excel, Kat Norton. I showed her Rebel Nutrition, me, and just basically like some of the women that I get inspired by, creating that, like Miss Excel is always dancing. She focuses her entire channel on, Excel. Whereas like I love that. But for me, I want to showcase all of me as a multi-passionate creator and CEO. So that's also why I resonate deeply with Rebel Nutrition, because she does all of, the above. Like she does the talking heads too. She does the lifestyle pics / lazy millionaire. She does the funny Instagram husband things. So, I was showing some of that to my mom. And then I'll be going to work out at a local gym at Maxi Fit for about an hour and a half or so. And then I have some time block. So that's wellness time block. And then the other thing I want to point out, you guys, I always have white space in between stuff, always. Because what I find is sometimes like I estimate time, but sometimes I find, when I step away, like go to the gym or do something, I figure out a way to do something quicker. And or sometimes I find I wanted more time in something. So, and I recalibrate like, wait a minute, where did I underestimate here? Or where did I overestimate? Or where else can I save time or free up time? Right. So then I time blocked several hours, about 4 hours, to wrap up the first phase of one of my one-on-one clients as a CFO advisor, to finish reviewing several of their documents, to finish their financial review and recommendations and their project plan that will likely take them into the next 1 to 2 to 3 years, and to send them a template of an email that they can send to negotiate contracts. for dresses with vendors, and then putting all that into a summary email with links to ClickUp and to Canva documents. So that's the other thing I'm very, very mindful of for years, is not inundating people with one-off emails. Like, no. Use a project management tool. Keep it centralized, keep it organized so things don't get lost in the cracks, and then utilize high-level documents and presentations with one-on-one clients, especially. And this is like comes from years of experience of working in corporate and consulting and retail and education and oil and gas and so many different industries. Is you always want it to, and also if you didn't know, I served on the board as well when I was a CAE, a chief audit executive. And so the board of directors. And so you want to keep in mind when you're presenting, you're often presenting to people of different levels and different levels of understanding. So you always want to take things up high level so that they get a snapshot of like what's happening easily. So for example, in my financial review, it's a snapshot of the best practices, of the next step recommendations, etc. Right? And I have a whole list of bullets for that. And then I have a summarized project plan document template that I use. And I always brand my templates for the business, meaning if it's my presentation that I'm giving for Create It, it's branded for me. But if I am giving a financial review or a project plan for a business, it is branded for them. Yes, my name is on it. Yes, the logo is on there, etc. But it's branded for them because it is their document and I am serving them. So then the project plan template that I pull from ClickUp and then I modify with, then it's the level of detail. Then it's the level of detail by area, by financials, by operations, by marketing, from what I call low to hanging fruit. It's their top 10 recommendations of what I'm recommending from their financial reviews, their operational reviews that I've done so far. Likely things will come up. As they do. It's I always say that a business is like a baby. It's different at when you birth a business versus when it's one versus when it's 3, 5, 7, 10, and so on and so forth, right? So the summary email. So I have a time block for that. And then I'm outlining one of my upcoming workbooks that will become a program, that will become an ongoing mastermind that will then be integrated into an annual opportunity you will have to work with me, my Creator 2 series, like Creator 2 CEO, Creator 2 CFO, Creator 2 CMO, Creator 2 COO, and then different options with that. So initially I'm outlining it. I already have the flow dialed in. And now it's simply outlining, do I want to start with a high level? Do I want to start with a one-on-one? Do I want to start with a workbook? Or do I want to start with both? Meaning offer an entry level, as in a workbook, and align the marketing with emails and blogs and shows to that, and a one-on-one, and replicate our landing page on Kajabi that we use for fractional CMO, because that will become Creator 2 CMO, and then edit that, migrate that to Creator to CFO, and have 2 offers, a high end and a lower end, and then start to build them towards the middle and scale as especially as the high end sells, which is literally what I'm using some of my recent clients for as well, basically being paid to learn and paid to create, both things I've been speaking, and delegate pieces of that. So just to give you some more insights into my brain. And then I have a break, and then I have Herbalife. I just had, for example, my breakfast was a Herbalife shake mixed with oats and some chia and some sunflower seeds. I do have my Herbalife bars, and then I always make sure, especially before and after my workouts, that I have a protein, complex carb, and then depending what I'm eating before or after, veggie and or healthy fats. Oh, and a shake and a banana after. So just some insights into the wellness there. And that is also in my Create It Monthly and in my retreats, and when you work with me as well. And so then I have a mini break, and then I will jump in to the Founder Collective. I love tuning into the Founder Collective with Tamara Andres. I was on her show earlier this year. And then I have Decompress and potentially clear at that point, because that's a lot of focus time, right? And then tomorrow, I've mapped out tomorrow. So I'll take you into Friday, tomorrow and Friday. Tomorrow's Thursday as of this recording. So wake up, my morning routine. Now that you understand it more and you've heard it, do a quick workout. I typically do like fasted cardio of 10 to 20 minutes. Lately, I've been doing a 10-minute circuit of boxing with Kendall Tool that I love for World Mental Health Day on Peloton.app. Then I have some dedicated time for my B2B2C, business to business to consumer slash priorities. For example, I know that I will be replicating some UGC emails to invite brands to participate in upcoming retreats. So that's on the list. Then I also know that, okay, let's load and migrate. So tech, let's load and migrate 7 ways to make 7K. So tech time block. And then let's schedule meetings for CPA Academy, and or determine if part of my 7 ways to make 7K workbook, I'm going to also set up on Earmark CPE podcast so that other CPAs can get CPE from it. And that usually takes me to fill out their sheet and whatnot. Usually takes me 30 minutes to an hour. And that is something I can definitely delegate in the future. So that is also what I'm always thinking. And again, white space in between the priorities. And I blocked it for an hour, but those email templates, for example, for brands, especially for speaker, for UGC, for influencer management, I already have replicated and I have templates. And that's something you also get if you work with me in the higher end programs, their bonuses within different retreats and things like that as well. And they will be part of the Creator 2 series as we go as well. So that's more of what you can look for. Kajabi is amazing for that too. Then the special project is, so I estimate that it'll only take me like 15 to 30 minutes, but I blocked off an hour. Like that's one example. Then the loads, they may take longer, but I will likely do other things while it's loading. And what I mean by loads is like loading up the videos into Kajabi. And sure, I could delegate those, but like they're on my computer, the files. By the time they get off the cloud, or I could give her access to the cloud, but then it's not a high priority, high impact task for the VA now. It's more of like number 10 or number 15 with the other things I want to delegate anew or delegate again as I'm transitioning back to Sonia with business to business priorities. Like, for example, replicating the emails and adding the email lists. And part of my meeting to set up with CPA Academy, where I've been taking my CPE, is to schedule that meeting, is to set up webinars that I'll lead to a live captive audience. Likely monthly, maybe less, maybe quarterly. We'll see. Starting in January or February with them as well. So that's an amazing business development alignment. Then gym time, white space. So meaning nothing, then gym time. So wellness time block, then white space, then clearing. So focusing heavily on clearing emails. So speaking of emails, I use an amazing tool that I learned about from CPA Academy on a CBE course called Boomerang, and clearing emails out of my inbox. And then I use the tool Boomerang will pause your inbox. So it pauses your inbox based on what you set. And I set it to pause now and only release emails 3 times a day. So it's helped me dramatically for me and Sonia again, stay out of the inbox, right? And then 2, when I have extra time sometimes, I do go into the inbox pause folder and clear out emails. Like, of course, this past week, there was a ton of Black Friday and Cyber Monday stuff, right? So the email was busier than usual. And I also stay out of it to make sure I'm staying focused on what's the most important, right? Like no different than social media. Like I track my screen time. I did go on Instagram today to show my mom some stuff, but I know with the time zone and the time differences, like I'm not getting on social media typically till at least 4, sometimes later, because 4 here is roughly like 8 a.m. on East Coast, right? So I have plenty of time. And that's usually my I don't like to say lowest priority because I see it as really important too. But as far as return on investment and time, what I'm seeing so far, like I'm still super consistent on all the channels, especially with repurposing. However, it's not the first thing I'm doing for many reasons. But then you can see I'm still super active. So clearing, then I dedicated 30 minutes to scaling. I will likely, so another tech tool that I'm adding back in is repurpose.io. It helps me repurpose, speaking of social media, across all social channels, like if this, then that. And I also use Social Curator. So, a lot of ways that that is managed through automation and through tech. Then I have a wide time block of about an hour and a half, and that is being used to add in breath work, add in me getting ready, because tomorrow I have two meetings in the afternoon, my afternoon, your morning for East Coasters. I have a meeting with a company called Legacy Worldwide to finalize our project or engagement. Then I have space because we already covered it, and it's simply meeting and greeting the CEO, and we've covered a lot. So that's a 30-minute meeting. And I'm pretty sure it'll be done like in 20 minutes, likely, just based on the prior meeting with the account manager with Paro, which is the platform I use for this particular business development source. And then I have the meeting with a client, Prichet Bridal, that's in Utah, that I'll be visiting likely probably February, Marchish, I'm guessing. And that is to cover our financial reviews, recommendations, and project plan. And I guesstimate that meeting maybe 45 minutes to an hour and a half based on the questions, based on the time that it takes. But I'm also implementing a parking lot that if something takes more than 2 to 5 minutes to bring up, then hey, let's bring it up, let's flag it, let's parking lot it, let's put it on the project plan, but let's keep going to make sure our meeting stays focused and productive, that we don't derail, so to speak. Then I have white space where I'll do decompression, etc. My Sacred Seven night routine. And then I am so speaking of Black Friday, I purchased a bundle that was insane called The Wealthy Woman, with over 20 different courses from people like Jamie C., which I've been listening to her podcast now for the last couple of weeks, and included her course, Cash Flow Confidential, that I'm already on module 2. And I love her show. I love her heart. There's in the Wealthy Woman, it was $85 for, I want to say like 30 plus courses, you guys, like insane bundle. Jamie C's course alone, if I would have purchased it outright, was $1,011. And I got the entire bundle of over 20 to 30 courses like for $85. So like it's crazy. But I'm treating everything like I spent thousands upon thousands of dollars, because it's literally likely going to take me 6 months to a year to get through it. I just completed a time management course, speaking of time, with Jessica from the Wealthy Woman Bundle. When I purchased the course, I emailed their team right away I purchased it through a link through your social team, through Manu. I did a beautiful comment testimonial on her Instagram post. I emailed them right away with gratitude, and I asked them to be part of a bundle, which I got a beautiful response from Bianca right away and said, yes, yes, yes. And so that's in the works. And then Jamie C's course is in progress. And then speaking of that investment, like paying off tenfold, I am, it is part of today's night routine, or tonight's night routine. Or not tomorrow. I'm sorry, not tonight. My days are blending when I'm doing time blocking. Tomorrow's night routine is the Crack the Money Code workshop that'll be for 2 hours. That is part of one of the creators that is part of the Wealthy Woman Bundle. And I want to give her a shout out because I don't like not saying creators' names. And there's so many creators' names in my head right now. So I'm pulling it up on the email as we speak. It is Christina Deptulski. I'm guessing she's Polish and are married to someone Polish or close, because that is very common ending for a Polish last name, SKA or SKI. So that is today and tomorrow. And then Fridays are usually you know how people say work on your business, and don't just work in your business, but work on your business. And so that is usually what my Fridays are. I'm assessing my priorities. I'm digging into my dashboard on ClickUp. I'm clearing ClickUp. I'm looking at finances. I'm looking at forecasting. And then I do that for 1 to 2 to 3 hours. I'm also going to dig into real estate with a list that I got from Merida. If you go back several episodes, I talk about that on the show, and it's on my blog. I will likely get my hair and nails done on Friday. And then Saturday right now, I haven't scheduled out yet, and Sunday. And usually one of those days is very woo-saw, like to let me woo-saw a lot. Okay. So I hope you love that. Let me know what you got out of time blocking, or any ideas on how you align your days, what you're not, aligning. Oh, and I forgot to mention, but this is very important. I always also schedule family time, as well as fun time, as well as friend time, whether that is in person and or online, or whatever the case is. So I'm having fun. Little Katrina is good. Like, you've seen me on Instagram, or heard me talk about the show, lots of different things with adventure, also different things that are spontaneous. And I'm always reshifting and being flexible. So leave a review on the show, drop your Instagram so I can shout you out, tag me on social at Katrina Julia Fit. And as always, create, transform, and inspire. You are born to. All the chats on faith, wellness, money, marketing, business, and travel, so you create a life and business you already. Head on over to the blog, the podcast, and the freebies to jumpstart your transformation. If you're ready to dive into the online courses, the live events, or the retreat, and if you want to create with our community on an even deeper level, definitely check out our internships, our influencer collaborations, management, and brand engagement. Let's create it.